Let's watch this video. Respect.
On the evening of May 11, 2017, Omotayo Salawudeen began setting up the murder scene for her husband of 17 years. Earlier that day around 6 p.m., while her husband Alhaji Hakeem Salawudeen was still at work, Omotayo had smuggled someone into their home. His name was Dolapo, a 24-year-old ex-convict whom she had hired to help her commit the ultimate crime. Dolapo did not wait in the main house where the family lived. Instead, Omotayo hid him inside a small wooden shack at the back of the house. There, in that cramped hiding spot, Dolapo waited as the hours passed. He waited for Alhaji Salawudeen to come home and also for the signal from Omotayo. Later that night, Alhaji Salawudeen arrived home from his work as a foodstuff seller. He had no idea what awaited him. His wife greeted him warmly, playing the role of the loving spouse perfectly. She served him dinner, and as he sat eating his meal, their 3 children, Barakat, Uthman, and Fatima, were in the house. Barakat, the eldest daughter, noticed her father had returned. She wanted to greet him and also asked him an important question. She needed him to take her to a JAMB examination center the following morning. But before she could reach her father, her mother intercepted her. Omotayo chased Barakat back to the children's room. She then instructed all 3 children to go to sleep immediately and warned them not to disturb their father. The children obeyed, not knowing that they just missed their last chance of ever seeing their father alive. With the children safely tucked away in their room, Omotayo went outside. She walked to the back of the house where Dolapo was hiding in the wooden shack. She told him that her husband had arrived and was eating dinner in the sitting room. Everything was going according to plan. While her husband finished his dinner, Omotayo made her next move. She quietly led Dolapo from the shack into one of the rooms in the house. He was now inside, just feet away from his target, hidden and waiting. The children were in their room. The husband was finishing his meal. The stage for the tragic murder was set. When Alhaji Salawudeen finished eating, Omotayo approached him. She lured him into their bedroom and began to caress him. Omotayo had the last intercourse with her husband, knowing fully well that she had hired someone to kill him that very night. After the sexual encounter, she left her husband lying in bed. Omotayo walked out of the room naked, pretending she was going to take a shower in the bathroom. But she did not go to the bathroom. Instead, she went to find Dolapo in the room where she had hidden him. She told him to wait a little longer, that her husband would soon fall asleep. Omotayo returned to the bedroom and lay next to her husband, waiting and watching him drift off to sleep. The time was somewhere between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. when Omotayo noticed her husband had finally fallen into a deep sleep. This was the moment she had been waiting for. She quietly slipped out of bed and went to get Dolapo. She led the ex-convict through the dark house into the bedroom where her husband lay sleeping and vulnerable. Omotayo grabbed a pillow and pressed it against her husband's face, while Dolapo stabbed him in the chest and stomach. The pillow muffled any sounds he might have made. The knife wounds were fatal. Alhaji Hakeem Salawudeen died in that room, killed by the woman he had trusted for 17 years and a stranger she had hired. But Omotayo and Dolapo were not finished. They could not let this look like what it actually was, which was a wife murdering her husband. They needed to create a different story, a believable cover, so they began to stage the crime scene. They wrote inscriptions on the walls of the house. The messages read, "No price, no pay. Aye asks, and forgiveness is a sin." These were meant to look like cult messages, to make it appear that Alhaji Salawudeen had been a member of a cult group and that his fellow cult members had come to kill him for some betrayal or unpaid debt. Omotayo collected her husband's phone. She went to the children's room and took their only phone as well. She gathered other items from the house and gave them all to Dolapo to take away. This would make it look like armed robbers had broken in, killed her husband, and stolen valuable items. She even told Dolapo to remove his shirt and hang it on top of the fence. This would serve as evidence that it had been left there by one of the robbers who was trying to escape over the fence. For Dolapo to escape without arousing suspicion, Omotayo gave him her late husband's jalabia, a traditional flowing robe that Alhaji Salawudeen often wore around the neighborhood. Dolapo put on the jalabia to impersonate the dead man. If anyone saw him leaving, they would think it was Alhaji Salawudeen himself. Omotayo quietly opened the gate to let Dolapo out. Her plan almost worked perfectly. Some vigilantes in the neighborhood did see someone leaving the house in a jalabia, and they mistook him for the deceased because of the traditional dress. Dolapo walked away into the night, believing he had gotten away with murder, but a heavy storm was coming for both of them. The next morning, Omotayo raised the alarm about her husband's murder. She even informed Alhaji Salawudeen's brother, who made his way to the house and discovered the horrible scene. He immediately reported to the police that 2 unknown men had entered his brother's house around 3 a.m. and stabbed him to death. He said nothing had been stolen, though the stage scene suggested otherwise. Police detectives arrived at the scene and found the inscriptions on the wall. At first, it seemed like a cult killing or perhaps a targeted assassination, but the investigation took a different turn when they began tracking the stolen items, particularly Salawuddin's phone. The police began tracking down the missing phone. They discovered that Dolakbo had sold it to a friend. When they found the buyer, he led them directly to Dolakbo. The police quickly identified him as an ex-convict, which raised even more questions. When Dolakbo was arrested and interrogated, he confessed to the crime. He told the police that he had not acted alone. He had been hired by the victim's wife, Omotayo Salawuddin. According to Dolakbo's confession, Omotayo had contacted him while he was in Oshogbo. Dolakbo admitted he used to shuttle between Lagos and Oshogbo, doing illegal activities he called runs. Whenever he was broke, he would go to Lagos to make money illegally, then come spend it in Oshogbo. It was during one of his stays in Oshogbo that Omotayo approached him with a deadly proposition. She had promised him whatever he wanted if he would help her kill her husband. She promised him a befitting accommodation, among other benefits. Dolakbo, an ex-convict with no moral compass, agreed to the deal. He provided detailed information about how Omotayo had smuggled him into the house, hidden him in the shack, brought him inside after the husband arrived, and how they had worked together to murder Alhaji Salawuddin. The police immediately arrested Omotayo. When she was paraded alongside Dolakbo at the Osun State Police Command headquarters, she confessed to everything. She admitted that she had choked her husband with a pillow after having sex with him, while Dolakbo stabbed him to death with a knife. She said she had hired Dolakbo to help her eliminate her husband. But why? What could drive a woman to murder the father of her 3 children, a man she had been married to for 17 years? When asked, Omotayo said something shocking. She admitted that her husband had not offended her. She said he was a good person who always took care of her needs and the needs of their children. She confessed that she was simply angry at him. As investigators dug deeper, a real motive began to emerge. Alhaji Salawuddin had married a second wife named Tawakalitu. In Nigeria, polygamy is legal and practiced, but that did not mean Omotayo accepted it. She was furious that her husband had taken another wife. She was angry that he had gotten another woman pregnant and made her his second wife. The 2 wives often quarreled. Omotayo complained to her children that their father's behavior toward her had changed since he married the second wife. She said he was not giving her the same attention as before and was not providing all her needs as he used to. She had asked him repeatedly to find her a job or open a big shop for her, but he had not done so. Omotayo's anger went far beyond complaints and quarrels. Investigations revealed that she had previously attempted to kill the second wife, Tawakalitu, on multiple occasions. In March 2017, just 2 months before she murdered her husband, Omotayo had gone to Tawakalitu's house around 9 p.m. She had somehow managed to locate where the second wife lived and had even duplicated a key to her house without anyone's knowledge. Her own husband did not know she had done this. That night, Omotayo attempted to open Tawakalitu's door with the duplicated key. While the woman was already in bed, Tawakalitu heard someone at her door and began shouting, "Thief!" Omotayo tried to run away, but was caught by neighbors who had come to help. They beat her and even stripped her naked. When someone examined the bag Omotayo was carrying, they found terrifying items: a small bottle of petrol, a new knife, a rope, and a matchbox. Omotayo admitted to the neighbors that she wanted to kill the woman who had taken her husband. She also said she planned to kill her husband if he was there and then hang herself. The landlords reported the case to the nearby police station. There was also another incident where Omotayo tried to poison Tawakalitu. Alhaji Salawuddin had brought some foodstuffs from Tawakalitu's family to give to her. Since it was late, when he arrived in Oshogbo, he went straight to the house where Omotayo stayed and told her the items were for the junior wife. The next morning, he packed the items and took them to Tawakalitu's house. Shortly after, Tawakalitu called him and said the sachet of oil that was among the items was leaking. When she cut the sachet to pour it into a bottle, she noticed the color had changed. Alhaji Salawuddin went to see for himself and realized someone had tampered with it. He believed Omotayo must have poured pesticides meant for fumigation into the oil to poison his second wife. Perhaps the most heartbreaking detail in this case came from Alhaji Salawuddin's younger brother. He revealed that just 2 weeks before he was murdered, Alhaji Salawuddin had told him something disturbing. He said he suspected that his wife was planning to kill him. When the brother asked if there was any serious problem between them, his brother said there was no major issue. He just had a feeling that Omotayo would kill him one day. It was a premonition. that would prove tragically accurate. Both Omotayo and Dolapo were charged with conspiracy and murder, and they likely got the death penalty for their crimes. What are your thoughts on this horrifying case? Share your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories.
Please, just do me a favor. Share this video. Share this video, make this video go viral. If it's your first time to come across my Facebook page, just help me click follow there. If not your first time to come across my YouTube channel, click subscription there. They're all free. Then do me a favor. Please, share them, make it go viral. As a remain your person, watch my boy. One love.